Hey, today I want to reflect a bit on dealing with despair, discouragement, and depression. And I'd like to reflect for a few moments on the prophet Elijah. Now, Elijah was a fearless prophet of God, willing to stand up in front of kings and queens and just about anything that came in front of him. But he had this great battle with the prophets of Baal that he won, and then, unfortunately, we find him later discouraged, depressed, in despair. This picks up in chapter 19, verse 3 through 5. In fact, I'm going to have a synopsis of it. He ran for his life until he came to a place where he lay down under a broom bush and prayed to the Lord God that he might die. "I've had enough, Lord," he said. "Take my life. I'm no better than my ancestors." Then he lay down and fell asleep. All at once an angel touched him and said, "Get up and eat." Elijah, utterly defeated, "Take my life." But God was not through with him. This reminds me of the Christian virtue of temperance. Ralph Wood, who was formerly at Wake Forest and now at Baylor, wrote about temperance, this virtue of temperance. Now, when we think of temperance, we may think of a temperance movement when I think her name was Carrie Nation, who goes out and hacking up whiskey barrels. But temperance originally had really little to do with that. Temperance came from the understanding of metal, making it stronger, making it more resilient, making it more effective in what it was supposed to do. And in temperance, the value of temperance is we temper our expectations of ourselves. We temper our expectations of how we're going to respond. We realize we have the ability to do wonderful things, but we also realize right underneath that we have the ability to sin greatly. You know, Elijah would have been well served to remember the virtue of temperance. Soon he was up at the top and then he's down at the bottom. I think all you got to do is read through the Psalms, Psalm 6 and others, that show that discouragement and despair can walk right hand in hand with the wonderful things that God can do. So temperance is a realistic understanding of ourselves in light of Christ's revelation, and it helps us to be a more effective witness in our life with our family and our friends and in our community. So temperance helps us not to be so shook by failure that we're unable to get back into the game, if you will. Also, temperance reminds us to rely upon the spiritual virtues of disciplines, of worship, prayer, Bible reading. All those things help us, especially in those areas that we have a tendency to fall short. So this week, remember Elijah, and remember that your faith and your spiritual life can be tempered to be more effective by having a realistic view of yourself. God bless you. I hope to see you soon.